Here's what you're about to find out. Which 8 frozen pizzas experts say are worth avoiding at all costs? And which one hides an ingredient list so long it reads like a chemistry lesson? We'll break down crust fails, sugar overloads, and sauces that taste more like syrup than tomato. By the end, you'll know exactly which frozen pies belong nowhere near your freezer. Number 1. Totino's Party Pizza. You think saving $1 on pizza means saving dinner, but Totino's is more chemistry than cuisine. It built its fame on being the cheapest and fastest pizza in the freezer aisle, a nostalgic bite of childhood for many. That bright red box promises convenience, but what's inside shows how low price often trades real ingredients for industrial formulas. A single small pie hides a label that reads more like a lab recipe than food. Every step of its build shows the shortcuts. The crust uses enriched flour bulked up with conditioners that keep it crisp after months in deep freeze. The oil blend includes hydrogenated varieties made to survive shipping, not improve flavor. The sauce earns comparisons to ketchup because it's thickened with corn syrup and loaded with sugar meant to disguise the metallic tang of reprocessed tomato concentrate. One look at the back panel shows a string of words the average shopper can't pronounce. Emulsifiers to glue oils, color fixers to fake freshness, synthetic flavors replacing what the sauce lost in heat treatment. Each of those names serves a specific factory problem. Starch modifiers help the crust brown evenly in a cheap oven. Maltodextrin increases volume without cost. Sorbic acid holds back mold so it can last far longer than any homemade pizza ever should. All of that fits the goal: maximum shelf life at minimal expense. And the result is a product that triggers sugar spikes, floods the body with sodium, and offers only faint traces of true cheese or tomato. Here's the truth: Totino's isn't frozen value, it's frozen engineering. It proves that cutting cost often means cutting nutrition. Bottom line, if you care about what goes into your body, this is one party you should skip entirely. Number 2. DiGiorno Rising Crust Ultimate Pepperoni. You've seen the slogan that swears it's not delivery, but what it is may be worse for you. DiGiorno's Rising Crust Ultimate Pepperoni sells you on that golden, puffed-up base that looks handmade. It's marketed as restaurant quality straight from your freezer. But that thick layer of bread doesn't rise naturally. Factory chemistry makes it happen. Each crust is engineered with a cocktail of leavening agents, dough conditioners, and added sugar designed to create lift, color, and softness every single time. When you think of fresh dough, you think yeast and thyme. Here, it's instant inflation controlled by additives that push air into the mix with mechanical precision. That inflation comes at a cost. Extra crust means more refined carbs that convert to sugar fast, making your blood spike before you've even hit the second slice. To round out the flavor, sodium loads and emulsifiers amplify texture, keeping that fluffy look under harsh freezer conditions. Every bite feels hearty, but it's mostly a sugar and salt construction built for visual appeal, not nutrition. The sauce, sugary by design, masks the acidic tang that artificial stabilizers leave behind. Hidden sweetness tricks your tongue into calling it fresh. And the cheese pull? It depends on processing too. Shredded mozzarella is dusted with anti-caking powders and enzyme blends, so it melts evenly without browning too fast. The illusion of bakery-style crust and balanced flavor is created by factory calibration, not craftsmanship. So what tastes like premium quality is actually precision manufacturing in disguise. Here's the truth: DiGiorno's heaviness isn't comfort. It's calculated density that leaves your body bursting with sodium and starch. Bottom line, bigger dough doesn't mean better pizza. It means more chemicals designed to taste like quality. Number 3. Screamin' Sicilian. You might think bold packaging means bold flavor, but Screamin' Sicilian proves that loud design often hides louder chemistry. The box looks fun and rebellious, covered in oversized fonts and cartoon attitude. It sells a tavern-style fantasy: crispy crust, gooey cheese, heavy meat, like the kind of pie you'd get late at night from a local bar. But once you read the label, that confidence starts to fade fast. Under the lid, several cured meats stack up: pepperoni, Italian sausage, and bacon pieces, each treated with nitrates or phosphates to preserve color and stop spoilage. Those chemicals work, but they also combine with the high-heat baking process to form compounds that put extra stress on your body over time. Add in repeated doses of sodium from each meat layer, and suddenly the bold flavor comes more from chemistry than from seasoning. What tastes hearty is really a sodium storm, dressed up as satisfaction. Even the crust isn't as handmade as it looks. The labels talk of stone-fired and crafted, hides the stabilizers and dough conditioners that keep it tasting fresh after months of freezing. Enzyme modifiers control the texture so it bakes evenly, while modified starches prevent it from going soggy after thawing. Together, they mimic bakery freshness but deliver industrial precision. And while the cheese looks rich, it's usually backed by anti-caking ingredients that force that perfect melt every single time. The end result is a pizza engineered for impact. Bright, salty, fatty, sweet all at once. Designed to hit every taste receptor and keep you reaching for the next bite. But the overload drowns any sense of balance. Here's the truth. Screamin' Sicilian is louder in additives than in real spice or cheese. Bottom line, more layers and louder flavors don't mean better quality. They just mean bigger numbers on the label. Number 4. Tony's Pepperoni. Tony's aims for family value, but under the box is a sodium science experiment. It's that familiar red logo you've seen since childhood, promising an all-American pepperoni pizza that fits any grocery budget. The brand built loyalty on affordability and quick prep, making it the weeknight backup meal for years. On the surface, it looks simple. A crisp crust, bright sauce, and pepperoni. But every layer tells a story of efficiency over nutrition. The pepperoni itself isn't the traditional slow-cured type most people picture. It's a reformulated mix molded together from different meat cuts and bound with fillers and dextrose. Then come the curing agents that lock in color long after freezing. Add to that sodium phosphate and preservatives to hold moisture so it doesn't dry out under oven heat. Combined, it becomes a highly treated product that tastes familiar but carries the salt and chemical load of something built in bulk. Even the tomato sauce plays a part. Sugar shows up early on the ingredient list, a clue that sweetness is compensating for cheaper tomato concentrate. That excess sugar hides the metallic tang of a low-grade puree while making the sauce stickier and easier to spread by machine. The crust continues the pattern with several forms of chemical leavening to create air pockets and crunch. Added oils replace what fresh dough would gain from fermentation, trading flavor development for fast rise and long storage. What keeps Tony's popular isn't taste purity, it's memory. Many people grew up eating it, linking the brand to Friday nights and quick dinners. But nostalgia doesn't undo the factory shortcuts. Here's the truth. Tony's wins the budget battle by stretching lifespan, not quality. Bottom line, the so-called simple classic loses its charm once you read the fine print. Number 5. Mama Cozzi's Stuffed Crust 3-Meat Pizza. It looks indulgent, but the secrets are baked inside. And not just cheese. Mama Cozzi's Stuffed Crust 3-Meat Pizza hits shoppers right where they're most tempted. Melted crust shots on the box and a price that feels like a win. As a private label brand, it pulls in buyers looking for luxury at a discount. That glossy stretch of cheese is the bait. The real story hides in what keeps it looking perfect for months. Inside the crust, stabilizers and processed oils keep the stuffed layer pliable even after freezing. Instead of pure mozzarella, the blend often includes artificial dairy ingredients and starch binders that hold shape without turning grainy in storage. The goal is long life and soft texture, not freshness. Those same additives also boost sodium levels far beyond what you'd expect in a single slice. What tastes like rich creaminess is really oil thickened by emulsifiers and gums meant for machine processing, not kitchen cooking. Then comes the triple meat promise: pepperoni, sausage, and bacon bits. Each one carries its own preservatives from nitrates to sodium phosphate, adding layer after layer of chemical protection. Stack them together and you get one of the heaviest ingredient loads in the freezer aisle. The meats amplify each other's salt content, creating dense flavor that feels satisfying, but leaves your body working overtime to process it. The lab-made cheese substitutes may save money, yet they also help drive up the sodium count needed to mimic real dairy balance. Every stuffed inch adds more complexity and less real food. Here's the truth. Mama Cozzi's isn't just generous, it's over-engineered comfort. It trades kitchen craftsmanship for chemistry that stretches mileage instead of quality. Bottom line, a stuffed crust shouldn't come with a surprise ingredient list longer than its circumference. Number 6. Chuck E. Cheese Frozen Pizza. You trusted it with birthdays, but in frozen form, it's all flash, no flavor. The Chuck E. Cheese Pepperoni Pizza traded the arcade for the supermarket freezer, trying to sell nostalgia by the slice. The smiling mouse and bright red box signal party memories, but the frozen version is built more like an industrial product than a family treat. What once came out of a restaurant oven now comes out of a mass production line. To mimic the look of fresh dough, it uses bulk distributor formulas loaded with conditioners, stabilizers, and color agents. Those additives give the crust that golden hue and soft bite even after months of freezing. In a factory setting, that kind of consistency comes from chemistry, not fermentation. Sugar also plays a quiet role. Extra doses feed the yeast and sweeten the taste so the crust browns faster and feels richer than it actually is. It's a trick designed for camera appeal, not nutrition. Then there's the sauce, thick and heavy on high fructose content. The sweetness hides acidic fillers and makes the flavor seem balanced for kids, but it's closer to dessert than dinner. Over years of reformulation, the sauce turned from tomato-based to sugar-based, driven by shelf life demands. Try tracking the meat quality on the label and you'll hit a wall. The public ingredient listing offers almost no sourcing clarity. The pepperoni appears uniform, but its construction depends on reprocessed cuts, stabilized with curing agents. Here's the kicker. A brand aimed at kids ended up with sodium numbers that rival adult frozen entrees. The same emotional pull that made parents trust the restaurant now keeps them from questioning the contents. Chuck E. Cheese's frozen pizza fails at both flavor and freshness. It's nostalgia wrapped in additives. Bottom line, memory cells. Chemistry keeps it from spoiling. Number 7. Kirkland's signature frozen pepperoni. You think warehouse brands mean cleaner labels? Not always the case here. Kirkland's signature pizzas carry Costco's confidence. Bulk boxes, big portions, and the sense that you're getting higher quality for less. But mass production at that scale demands more than cheese and flour. It relies on a quiet arsenal of industrial helpers to keep each pie consistent through months of freezing and transport. Every slice shows how bulk logistics shape the recipe. To stop shredded mozzarella from fusing into one frozen brick, the factory dusts it with anti-caking powders that keep it loose and camera-ready. The dough needs enzymes and conditioners to rise predictably after deep freeze, giving a fresh-baked illusion even when the real rising happened weeks ago in a warehouse line. These compounds don't change the taste much, but they keep thousands of pizzas uniform across dozens of shipments. Look closer at the sauce and you'll find its own form of insurance. High sodium levels act as both flavor guard and preservative, letting the tomato base survive long storage cycles without turning dull. After thawing, that salt remains, pushing your meal's sodium count far past what home cooking would ever need. It's a silent exchange. Shelf stability for heart strain. Behind that trusted brand logo sits a technical balancing act. Cheese particles coated for flow, dough engineered for resilience, and flavor preserved by salt instead of herbs. The label stretches longer than you'd expect from a private brand known for simplicity, and yet shoppers rarely second-guess it, because the Costco name inspires near-automatic trust. Here's the truth. Even the clean store brand hides industrial tricks under the lid. Kirkland's Pizza shows how convenience retail meets chemical consistency. Bottom line, it's not the logo that matters. It's the count of additives lined up behind it. Number 8. Caulipower Margarita Pizza. It's marketed as guilt-free, but the label tells a different story. Caulipower Margarita Pizza promises to transform comfort food into health food. The idea sounds smart. Replace traditional flour with cauliflower, drop the gluten, and keep the flavor. But when you dig into the ingredients, the illusion starts to fade. The crust isn't pure vegetable, it's a blended base of cauliflower, brown rice flour, cornstarch, and binding gums that hold the structure together. Without those extra starches and cellulose additives, the crust would fall apart in a standard oven. What seems wholesome is actually a reinvention of processed dough under a new name. Even when the crust claims to be lighter, the sodium levels stay close to typical frozen pizzas. That's because a flavor built on vegetables needs salt to stay appealing. The formula pushes sodium high enough to rewrite its clean-eating message. Then comes the sugar, hidden in both the tomato sauce and cheese mix to cover up the earthy taste of cauliflower. You end up with a product that raises blood sugar almost as fast as a wheat crust would. It feels like a trick. Vegetable base on the front, carbohydrate load on the back. The sauce itself leans heavily on additives too. Stabilizers and sweeteners balance texture and sweetness so the sauce spreads evenly and tastes uniform months later. The marketing points to real tomatoes, but it's balanced with modified cornstarch and sugar that do the heavy lifting in flavor. The result is a pizza built for shelf life and branding rather than nutritional balance. Here's the truth. Caulipower's promise of purity is more about packaging than progress. A vegetable crust can still carry an industrial footprint. Bottom line, a healthy label doesn't erase the fact that every bite carries processed fillers hiding beneath the cauliflower name. Every extra line on an ingredient list means another step away from real food. Those unpronounceable names stand for stabilizers, sweeteners, and colors built to survive storage, not to nourish you. If the label looks more like a lab sheet than a recipe, that's your sign to put it back. Start checking before you trust price, packaging, or promises. The cleanest food never hides behind fine print. Simple ingredients equals simpler digestion, steadier energy, and fewer surprises down the road. Subscribe now and I'll show you what to avoid and what's actually safe.